Yo, haha, Magnificent. What is good, YouTube? Your boy Magnificent coming back with another quick video, man. Today, your boy has got the biggest migraine, but I'm gonna try to do this video as good as possible because I do have the AE1 Low that just came in, and I didn't even know that Adidas was gonna send this that quick, right? But I did the mids not too long ago. I wanted to secure the mids before I secured it the low because I had a feeling that this was more limited than the low. And of course they restocked, got my pair yesterday, and then somehow Adidas just had it in my front door today. So with that said and done, we are going to talk about the differences between the mid, the low. Is there advantage between the low over the mid? To a certain point, but I don't think so. I think both shoes actually do have the capability of containment. You just have to do one minor adjustment to your shoelacing mechanism, and then I'll show you that momentarily. So with that said and done, man, you got the AE1 Low. I think they called these the MX Gray Low. I don't know if they were going for like a Yeezy Foam Runner series where this is the MX Gray, and then they took this design and kind of incorporated it with Anthony Edwards shoe. Of course, you see the Ant Hill logo at the top right here, and this is a pull-out drawer style. So with that said and done, man, let's get straight into it. I tell people, look, when you see this, just think of the exposed foam, at least that you see on the bottom, that light strike technology that they put on there in terms of the cushioning system. You can see that on the bottom, it is exposed on the mids. You can see it on the side panel of the actual shoe. Let's pull this bad boy out because I do want to see this for myself and notice the subtle differences that I see. So let's take out, ooh, I like that. Got a little, somewhat of a difference. And weight. I can fill in the weight. Let me put this down here. Put this to the side. So we do have the AE1 Low. I want to say that this is definitely called, let me put this down here. This is definitely going to be deemed as the Ascent Pack just because they kind of look the same outside of the actual color design. It still has both black textile uppers. They do have the heel counter with the Adidas logo exposed. They both feature the 3M panel towards the toe box up here. The only differences that you're really going to see is on the textile upper, they extended where the tongue is basically exposed. I want to say they stopped it about halfway. So it's like halfway exposed on the mids, and it's all the way exposed on the low. And what that does, you would think that, in my opinion, that it'll have more containment towards your toe. With this one, since the tongue is actually exposed, and this one's kind of covered up to a certain point. But at the same time, I felt like that was not the case. They both also feature the lace style ropes, and I'll get into that momentarily when I talk about containment. And then they also feature that generative supportive wing, both on the lateral and the medial side. What you're going to notice about the low, though, is that there's not as much just because it's a low, whereas on the mid, obviously, you see more of that wing exposed. They both feature breathable, I want to say, side panels on the medial and the lateral side, where you can see like a video right here where I'm kind of showing you where the light pass-through comes through. And of course, they both feature like these pull tabs, whereas the only difference is that the pull tab on here, because the shoe is a low, it's kind of, you'll see the top of it exposed, whereas on the mid, it kind of flows right through just because it's a mid. So I noticed that momentarily, but they both have a pull tab both on the heel and actually the tongue. And this is where containment is going to be very, very important. It's actually, if this is on a low, this tab right here. The reason why I say that is because when they did the mid, they have, you can see a video right here. It's two straps that's featured on the inside that's locked down to each side. And when you tie your shoe, of course, you don't have to worry about the tongue shifting back and forth. On the low, and you'll see a video right here, it shifts back and forth because it doesn't feature those tabs, or at least those, I want to say, actually, yeah, the tabs. You don't see it like locking down on both sides. So it's able to shift back and forth when you're playing basketball. So the fix towards that, let everybody know, that is why you want to kind of utilize this tab, because, and you'll see a video right here, when you're lacing this shoe up, you're going to have that containment still. It may not be able to lock down on each side, but you can still have containment on this tongue so that it doesn't shift that much when you're playing basketball. And all you have to do is take the lacing system, go all the way to the top eye stay, and once you're at the top eye stay, that's where you want to put your laces, kind of in that tab right here. This will keep this upright so that way when you're playing basketball, you're doing your cuts, your lateral movements, things of that nature, you won't feel this shift back and forth. This will actually be a part of the actual lacing system, which will keep your containment, just to let you guys know. And of course, the differences in terms of padding towards the heel, there's a significant difference between the mid and the low. I felt like the mid had a little bit of foam padding towards the heel, whereas the low, it looks like they went all out and they gave you a full, and I mean like a full, all the way around the heel. Full padding around the heel, in my opinion, that when you put this on, you're going to feel it, and there'll probably be a little bit more stability on your heel on top of the containment with the tongue, as long as you're utilizing that top tab. And of course, they both feature the herringbone traction design with the exposed. And I almost thought that the light strike, or at least the boost, is featured all the way through, but I can feel it in terms of the bottom. I can feel it towards the toe, and I can feel it towards the heel on both the mid and the actual low. Towards the middle, I don't feel it as much. So I just want to let everybody know. But if you ask me personal preference, and of course, before I say that, Adidas logo is also featured on the bottom. And of course, the insoles are pretty much the same as the mid and the low. In terms of comfort and containment, like I said, the containment portion, you can get it in both. You just need to make sure the lacing design or your lacing mechanism or system that you utilize that top tab. And you can do that for the mid as well for more containment, but utilize that top tab. I don't think you'll have issues with the whole containment portion. But of course, the only difference is that the midsole on at least the mid is your ankle's not exposed as much. So that's why it's important to keep it locked down on the low, where the low, obviously your ankle is going to be exposed a little bit, but this, not so much. It's still a little bit more containment. So in terms of preference, man, I had a chance to put on both of these, and I must say that I don't think you could lose with either or. I don't feel like this is more comfortable than this, but it also depends on your style of playing basketball. Some people may like that movement where you want lateral quickness versus just doing your cuts. So I could see somebody going something like point guard, shooting guard going for this, power forwards, maybe centers going for this, if that makes sense. So even your wing players might prefer the mid over the low. But in terms of like lifestyle, just your day-to-day, I don't think you can go wrong with either or. They both have that comfort feeling. And the only difference that I saw with the mid, and actually I'll put this up right here, I noticed that they actually put you can see it right here, the mid design towards the inner portion of the shoe. You'll see that while it does have that boost rubber design on here, this is more so, it's a little bit different on the actual low. But I don't think it takes away from the shoe in terms of comfort and style. And I'm glad to have both of them on the Magnificent channel in terms of a comparison. But you can comment below, man. Let me know. Did you pick up the AE1 Ascent Mid or the AE1 Ascent Low, or AKA MX Gray Low is what they kind of label it. But this is technically the Ascent pack. And I did want to have the low on here. But at the same time, I wanted to secure my mid before I secured the low. I felt like this was more limited than this. Could be wrong, but I felt like the mid series, you can see Velocity Blue here, Red Clay's back there. I can tell you right now, the mids are usually more limited than the low. But I do look forward to having more colorways of the AE1 series on the Magnificent channel. We're going to do that on feet so I can show you guys the whole containment portion, and you can see the cushioning mechanism of both shoes. And listen, I don't feel like there's an advantage over one or the other, but I can say like you won't be disappointed with the low or the mid. And of course, the big feature on here, I do like that, man. You got the light boost just exposed towards the heel counter, and I felt like, man, that was just an added touch to this. Hey, man, Hopefully, we'll have more colorways on the Magnificent channel as I continue to kind of collect in the AE1 series before they transition to the AE2. But your boy Magnificent Man, the Ascent Pack on the Magnificent channel. Both the mid and the low. Just can't go wrong. Let's do that on feet. And you guys, stay blessed.